Welcome to part 2 of the speedrun walkthrough for Popful Mail for the Super Famicom. We're going to dive right into stage 3 here. First screen here, just jump a lot. Start jumping here and just keep on jumping. Remember that you can buffer your jumps, so once you're in the air, let go of jump and then hold it again. You might catch that edge a little bit, but it's not a huge time loss if you do. There are going to be a lot of cutscenes here. I recommend first switch to Tat in a second here. He will make the next cutscene a little bit faster, the one right after this. I prefer to mash attack and A here, so mashing Y and A. During this cutscene, hold up and mash other buttons, and you'll just immediately go through that door. I was actually mashing X and A there. X is a shield. We're going to use that much later, but you don't ever really have to use it. Here, you're going to see 3 different versions of the same cutscene. Tat is at the top. That's ideally what you want to do. As you can see, Tat and Mail are pretty much tied at this point. Mail is going to have just a little bit more text in this next piece here. Gao is continuing to fall further and further behind. In total, using Tat here takes about 38 seconds from the start of the cutscene to the very end. Mail takes about 40 seconds, and Gao takes about 41.7 seconds to start moving after the cutscene. Gao is extra bad because you have to switch back to Tat right after this. So you're going to move to the right and pick up this red gem, which will increase Tat's fire spell power. That will be very helpful on our next boss coming up. You're going to continue to avoid killing everything at this point. We're not strong enough to do it right now. We've bought no equipment for anybody, so just move to the right and jump. Avoid that shot. Here, move to the left. Keep on jumping. Moving to the right, there's nothing there. It's just empty space. You don't want to get hit by these rats. They hurt. You can kill them, but they will hurt you, so don't bother. Here, more cutscenes. Mash out of this. You can hold up. We're at the end of this cutscene, and you'll immediately go through the door. Move to the right. Start mashing again. Move to the right to meet an old man. You will not be hitting this old man with a hammer, unfortunately. Well, maybe fortunately, if you are not a fan of the minigame in the last video. Immediately after that cutscene ends, you need to move to the left. So I like to mash Y and attack during this whole segment. Move left, then move right. Press up to talk to this guy. You do have to do that. Basically, it's setting a flag so you can continue forward. Here, you'll move to the right. This guy tells you, hey, you can't go through here. This guy says, no, she's allowed to go through. And he says, oh, okay, cool. And then you moved, hold up, go through the door. That blue gem, if we had a ice spell for Tat, would upgrade it. Instead, we're just going to drop down. A lot of these enemies won't do anything if you're buffering these jumps. Those guys with the electrics, pokers might hit you, but or try to, but they'll fail. Here, this room is terrible, and I'm sorry about it. You just have to move to the left, kind of follow the path that I'm following. These flying dragon guys will swoop down at you. If they do that, you just kind of want to try to avoid getting hit. There's a green gem there. We used to pick that up. A possible strategy was to get a different spell for Tat. It made this boss coming up and the one at the end of this level faster, but it ended up not being helpful for the rest of the game. So that room that we just left, you do have to go in there, move to the left to speak to those cultists, mash out of it, move to the right to leave. Leaving this area can be extremely dangerous. These dragons are just terrible. There's really no way around it. So I like to switch to Gao mainly because his defense right now is a little bit higher. He will not remain very powerful. But right now his defense is pretty good, so we want to take advantage of that when we can. You do need him to get an upgrade for him, though. There are these random fish meals around the game that will make him a little bit stronger. We won't use him very much, honestly. We only fight one boss with him. But you switch back to Mail right away to be able to get to this shop area. Making the jump with Gao is, it's really hard for me. I know I've seen others struggle with it. It might be possible. You want to be on Mail eventually to buy a sword and I believe some armor for her in this next shop. Let's check. But you want to heal everybody. You don't have any money to exchange, so don't worry about doing that. So here you buy the third option, which is a sword, and the fourth option, which is some armor. You'll likely end up with about 1,000, 1,100 gold left. There will come a point you'll want to check how much money you have at the end here, but that'll come later. You can start killing enemies now. Mail's down attack is really good for killing the enemies here. You just kind of want to keep moving to the left here. We're going back to that room where those cultists were, since they took that girl. That girl is Meryl, you might remember from last time. She was captured by some monsters in the cave. So we rescued her, and now she's here, and now she's in danger again. Here we're on Tat. Hold L, hold left. You will immediately open the menu, and immediately switch to fire, and then immediately close the menu, as long as you're holding L and left. This boss coming up, there are a couple of strategies. You can either use Tat or Mail, and we will look at both of those strategies. Before we get too deep into that, you can press L to open the item menu. You can heal from there. Here, you're going to move to the left with Tat, and get ready to jump over these. This is entirely about getting used to timing. You want to jump when that first laser comes out, and just keep jumping. As you fall after the second laser is when you start doing those shots. This was ideal. It took a bit more damage than you might want to. You don't want to take a ton of damage. You do get healed after, so it's not terrible. But this is what can happen if it goes bad. You're going to start this fight well. You might take a little bit of damage here and there, but if you get hit by this big laser, you will fall down, and then you're just going to get wrecked. So please be careful. Here you're going to see this fight with some missed hits. If you're a little too early or too late with the first attack especially, it won't hit. If you're too early, it won't hit because the boss's weak point is not available. If you're very early, you'll just fire over it, and if you're too late, it'll go under. As you can see, the more this fight goes on, the more damage you take, the riskier it is. The good news is if you die, you just start right over, so it's not the end of the world if that happens. We're going to see it one more time, this time with Mail. This strategy is what I came up with after watching sunwentai's former world record video. Sunwentai used to use Mail, jump up to that top right platform, and then jump down to do 2 hits. I modified that, so you're just basically standing in front of this thing the whole time. From this strategy is where we got the Tat strategy. Lonk, DLDarklink, you may remember I mentioned him last time, came up with the strategy for Tat based on this idea of being really close to it, because it just gets stuck in a cycle, so you might as well just stand there and jump over the attacks. If the timing for Tat is a little too difficult for you, if you find yourself dying a lot, use Mail. It is safer. It is slower. It takes about twice as long, ideally even. It takes 6 cycles versus 3 for Tat. Please remember to jump up and pick up that yellow gem. It will increase Tat's bomb power, which is incredibly important for you to be able to finish this game. Please get it. It will make the next boss fight much easier for you. Here we're going to use Mail. Mail is basically our movement option for most of the game. She is not going to fight too many bosses after this. She obviously will fight the final boss and some other ones, but she will mainly be used to navigate the rooms. We're going to see this room a couple of times. Mainly I wanted to show the best way through, which is to climb up here, jump really late, and then climb up this ladder and go to the left. If you miss that, it is okay. You're going to climb up. If you jump too early here, you will fall. That's okay. Keep moving to the left. You're already moving that way, so you might as well keep going. Here, move to the right. You don't have to do the jump that I just did, but you'll be back in this spot. And then you'll climb up, go through the door. Move to the right here. New strat here from Joey, I think. You want to hold jump there, and then just walk off, and you'll immediately go through the door, which is pretty nice. Here you're going to continue moving to the right, killing these guys along the way. Not super required. You will likely have enough money for the end of the game, as long as you're killing majority of the enemies along the way here. In this next shop, a couple of important things. Heal everybody. It's your last good chance to do that. And you're going to buy some a shield for Tat. That will help him survive the next coming fights. Check how much money you have. In this video we had about 4,400, and that will be plenty for what we need. If you have about 4,000, you will be fine. But you're going to keep climbing here. The money will come into play in the next level, and we'll talk about it more then. This room is terrible. I'm sorry. You have to kind of follow the path that I'm following here. There may be another way through it, but you're basically going to kind of climb a little bit to the left, go all the way to the right, all the way to the left, and then use these hands to make it across the top portion to get to this door. Fortunately, a very simple room here. Keep moving to the right. I don't bother killing things here because of these flying guys. They can just wreck your day. So I just move to the right instead. And we'll go into our next boss fight. This will be first a mini boss fight fought by Mail. We're going to see these cultist wizard guys go through a secret passage. This is how you open secret passages, by the way. So they go through, we're going to follow them. Couple things to note, you will probably take a little bit of damage here. It's okay. If you do, we're not going to have to use Mail too much coming up. And immediately after this mini-boss, you will want to switch to Tat and switch him back to his bombs. It will be very quick when it happens, so I'm mentioning it now. We are going to see this wizard fight a couple of times. You have to fight two of them, but really only one of them can be damaged. So the best way to do it is to jump and attack down. It can be done in 2 hits. You just have to get the timing right. So that was fine. If you try to do it with just normal slashes, it is going to be terrible for you. Because it'll be like this, and it's going to take a really long time. You're going to take some damage. You're not going to be very happy. So use downward attacks instead. That was 4 hits that time. But even that is better than doing the slashes. So switch to Tat, hold L, and hold the right button on the D-pad. You'll switch to your bombs. Good to test it. We'll be ready for the next boss fight. You will see this boss fight once normally, and then once slowed down. The short explanation of what's going to happen after this cutscene. And in this cutscene, Meryl wants you to check, or wants this character to check on your crew. And she will get kidnapped again. Unfortunate. We kind of fail in our mission here, sadly. But short explanation of what's going to happen in this next boss fight is you will move to the right with Tat to a certain position on the screen. And then you will just spam attack and either jump over the enemy's attack or duck under it. It doesn't matter which one you do. I think ducking is a little bit faster. I've seen Joey doing that and it seems to work pretty well. So move to the right. As soon as this is done, you'll take 2 hits. Doesn't matter. Just take them and line up so that Tat's cane is basically lined up with that pillar's edge. It's pretty generous. You can be further to the right than I am as well and be totally okay. But it's a super fast fight. So we'll see it again slowed down so you can kind of see where to get in position and do the attacks. That first attack from the enemy will not hit you when it extends its shield out. When it comes back through you, it also doesn't hurt you. So as long as you duck under it or jump over it when it's moving to the left, you'll be fine. And that is basically the end of Stage 3. You're going to mash through some more cutscenes here. But then we'll be moving on to Stage 4. As usual, when you're mashing here, you want to pretty much hit any button you can. Any of them will work to advance the text. First one will move the text a little faster, and the second one will clear it. There are some text boxes that will be coming up in Stage 4 that will only move faster when you are pressing and holding Y. I'm not sure why that is. It just is how it is. So I'll try to point those out when we see them. Basically, any text box that doesn't have an actual box around it, it just has text on the screen, will behave that way. Material has done something here. He's stolen some item. So he tells us, hey, we're going to this ice island. So we're going to do that too. As soon as the map opens up, you want to be holding up. And once you are moving, you want to hold B or some other button to activate it. Just stay on Tat here. You can do this with Mail. if you find that Tat doesn't work too well. But jump over all these fools, bomb that guy. Tat is going to be the absolute hero of this level. He's going to do the most things. So first, pick up this upgrade. This is another fire spell upgrade. If you don't get that, you are going to have a terrible time in this level. Again, hold L and left on the D-pad, and you'll switch to fire. Move right, attack twice. See, super easy. I like to kill that guy with a backwards hit, kill that guy with a forward hit. This is ice physics, so you will slide. Once you remember where the enemies are, this becomes a lot easier. If you don't know where they are, it's very tricky, and you will be struggling a lot, but you can get it down pretty easily. I like to hold R in that mini cutscene there to switch to Gao, because we want to use him in a moment. Here in this cutscene, we see this running gag again of this elf character chasing this guy, this Nutscracker, I believe. And our elf friend is going to do something. He unlocks his hidden potential or something. We're going to find out later that there is some snake spirit that is inhabiting his body that perhaps is helping him out here. We're going to do a little climb with Gao here. You can go up the right side as well. It's really not required, but you can. Just get to this door. There's a weird thing that can happen. If you switch characters, you can't always attack right away. I don't know why. I just wanted to show that to you so that you're prepared for it if you see it. I like to call this the Indiana Jones hallway. You're gonna keep moving to the right and just be followed by these spikes. And just buffer your jumps every time you fall. And you'll get to this shop. We want to have enough money to buy a lot of stuff in this level, but as long as you have 4,000-ish gold coming in here, you will be fine. So here I buy armor for Cat. It's 5,500. It is expensive, but it does make him more able to survive the next couple of rooms, which is what we want. So we're going to keep moving to the right. We're going to be moving toward another cutscene here, but we have to clear some enemies out of our way first. It is possible that different characters have different length cutscenes in this section as well. I have not tested that yet. That's one thing that I haven't done. I get the feeling that they're all pretty close. We do want to be on Gao after these cutscenes, so it's not bad to be on him right away. We're going to see something is amiss in this icy wonderland here. There are going to be a lot of these earthquakes in this level, and we get saved from this avalanche by our elf friend. Those jumps are where I think maybe it could be faster if you have like Tat, because his jump is so much shorter. We see Meryl holding on to a little branch here, and she's gonna take a plunge. Well, we tried to save her. Good effort, team. She's going to get, unfortunately, snagged by a bad guy. This is Desirodios, the god of death. Here, you'll notice I'm holding Y. It is the only way to make this particular text box go faster. Immediately out of this cutscene, you want to move to the right and pick up an upgrade for Gao. It's another one of those fish meals that will make him a little bit stronger. So get that, and then our boy Tat gets to come back and show his quality. You're going to want to jump and attack right away. It's hard to kill both of those ice faces. The ice faces shoot little ice blocks at you, and they hurt. This jump is hard to make on one shot, so it's okay if you just fall. You can kill those ice faces by landing on them and kind of holding left and hitting them. You likely won't need to do that. You do need to get that upgrade. It is the next bomb upgrade. Let's talk about this set of rooms here. They're pretty bad. No matter who you use, chances are you will get hit. I like Tat just because we have armor for him. He can deflect these little boomerangs that these guys throw. He can kill these guys with 2 good fire hits, but often it's just a little bit better to jump over them. As long as you've killed most of the ice faces and guys along the way, you will have enough money for the next upgrade. So you might have noticed a little jump mishap there. I jumped a little bit too early, so I doubled back. Just wanted to show you that that can happen. Turn in your money, heal everybody up. Make sure everybody's good, because it's your last chance for a while. And then buy Mail a fire sword. You can equip it right away. It will make life a lot easier for you. Mail, again, is going to be our movement person for the next little bit. Here, don't try to turn in your money again, you don't need to, but do buy a shield for Mail. This is the first shield that we've bought for Mail. If you hold X, she'll use her shield. It deflects stuff. Basically, you never use it. We're going to maybe use it on a boss in a minute, but you don't need it. Coming out of any of those crouching tunnels, you can buffer your jump. Just hold B at the end, and you will jump immediately rather than staying crouched. I could have mentioned that in the cave section last time, but just kind of... there's so much to talk about in the cave, it didn't even cross my mind that I should mention it. So that's a useful extra movement thing you should know about, is anytime you're crawling through something, holding jump at the end of it will get you a first frame jump, which will let you move more quickly. A quick little set of cutscenes here. We make some new friends, these green and red rangers. I like to call them the green and red traders because of what will happen in a little bit. But they invite you in, you have some food, you meet some penguins, and then there's an earthquake, and this penguin comes in and is like, oh no, I'm so injured. And so Red is going to go off to investigate. We're going to follow her, so immediately hold left at the end of that cutscene. You're going to climb up here and move to the left and jump off. It's going to stay on top of this section here and keep moving to the left. And we'll get another cutscene. In this cutscene, I believe we are introduced to the big bad of this area, whose name is Dokken. Dokken is a snake creature. He is not related to the really great 80s hair metal band. So unfortunately, we won't be hearing any great music from him outside of the game's awesome music anyway. Let's see our elf friend again. We're going to go follow him. So move to the right, jump over this stuff, and then drop down right here. Keep moving to the right. You'll notice Mail might get hit here, but she's not going to take a ton of damage. Basically, because of the shield that we bought, Mail is in much better shape now to survive most things here. We're back in this room now, so we're going to climb up to this door, move to the right. Most of the killing of enemies you're going to do at this point is for the sake of convenient movement more than getting gold. We have plenty of money now. That guy who chucked that circular disc at me usually isn't there, but he was today. I like to switch to Gao either right before this cutscene or right after it. I like to think of the ladders in this room as being fairly similar to the ladders in Legacy of the Wizard on the NES, if you've played that. They kind of function in a similar way, where you can climb up, you can jump off of them, you can jump onto other ones and climb up. And this room kind of highlights that. Saw the snake spirit leave our elf friend. He goes off somewhere, and so we're going to follow him. I like to climb up here. We're going to see this next room, this next segment a couple of times here. We're going to drop straight down, go through this door. Okay, we'll see it again, just so you can get a sense of where to go. It's right there. Not quite the middle, a little bit to the right of the middle. You can stay on Gao. The only benefit there is for the next kind of puzzle that we're going to solve, but you can solve it with Mail just fine. You don't need Gao. Gao's maybe a little bit faster. Risk with Gao is that he gets injured at this point. We don't want him to get injured because we're not going to get another good chance to heal him, and even doing it, we will be able to, it'll slow us down. Alright, this next segment, there's a bubble puzzle. It is annoying. You just have to get used to it. The spacing of them is a little bit weird, so that was a not ideal example. Better would be kind of doing what I'm doing here, jumping up, and moving forward. You can use Gao as well for this one, and then switch to male. Gao can't get that really tight jump there. There's a second one, lucky us. So you want to do basically what I'm doing here, which is climb up the right side and then push that top one to the left to be able to make it. We're going to see the last shop that we're going to see in this game, I believe. Here, you just want to heal, make sure everybody's healed up. And then we're going to switch to Tat for some boss fights. Make sure you're on fire. If you're not on fire, you're in for a very, very bad time on this boss, and you want to be on Tat. You cannot switch characters in boss fights. It is very important that you be on the correct character. So this first boss fight is the green trader. I'm going to show you kind of her basic movement. She's going to hit the ground 3 times and then fire off these 4 bubbles. She always moves to the left first, and she'll change direction when she hits the wall. So let's see what we can do. That jump is going to be very important for you. So jump, attack, attack, jump, attack. I showed that jump a couple of times because I want you to get used to the idea of just immediately start mashing jump as soon as this cutscene is ending. And that's it. This one's not too bad. Her green bubbles can hurt and kill you. It will take her a very long time to do it, so it's okay if it takes you a couple of cycles. You can destroy those bubbles with your fire spell. Doing a horizontal fire spell will always be the most powerful version of the spell that Tat can cast at that point. That means that if he has enough MP to cast level 3, he will cast level 3. If he only has enough for level 2, he will cast level 2. Only enough for level 1, level 1. Doing up or down is different. Casting the spell up will always be, I believe, level 1. Same with down. So if you can destroy those bubbles with an up attack, it's a little bit better. So our green friend is getting rescued. Our red friend has been kidnapped here. We let Tat replenish his MP and then switch to male. Male can deflect these round things, but it's very likely you'll take some damage here. Switch to Tat. It's so important that you switch to Tat here. If you go into this fight with male, you might as well just reset. I'm going to show you our red friend's moveset first here. Drops 1, 2, 3 times. Sends 6 red bubbles, and they hurt a lot. She also does this shockwave attack that hurts a lot, so it's very easy to die here. Instead, what you want to do is jump over that first shockwave and get 2 attacks in, one left, one right as she goes past you. And then try to get one more to the right. We're going to see that slowed down here. Left, right, jump right, and then start trying to destroy these as they come out. If you get hit by a few, not a big deal, and then you only have one more hit. So again, the good news is if you die on a boss, you start on the boss right away. The bad news with this one is she starts her attack right away, so you have to be ready to do this left-right attack. 1, 2. I missed that third one, but it's okay. You can still get it in the 2 cycle with an immediate attack, and then trying to get her as she's bouncing around. These are very, very challenging fights, so it is okay if you mess it up, if it takes you a while. They are very hard. These are probably some of the hardest boss fights in this whole game. They're so quick and deadly. If you try to fight them with male, you are in for an absolutely miserable fight. If you try to fight them with a different spell for Tat, you're in for a miserable fight. Fire is the way to go. We only have one more thing left to do in this level, and it's fight Dokken. I like to let Tat's MP replenish. You'll see some ice physics there pulling us back. And then switch to male for this fight. You can fight this boss with Tat. You can use bombs on it. I like to use male instead. Male's fight is a bit more consistent, I find. You get to make use of her down attack a lot. We see Dokken on the right here. See our snake spirit friend on the left. You will see I'm mashing all kinds of buttons except Y, and only when I press Y does this text speed up, and when there's no text box. So use Y to speed those up. Basically, Dokken, you want to use down attacks. There are 2 phases. First phase, jump on his head, try to keep hitting him with down attacks. You only need 6. Second phase, there are 2 strategies we'll talk about. First one will be kind of doing this downward attack strat again. Alright, so moving on to phase 2. Chances are you will be inside of his body. You'll take a little bit of damage. It's okay. You want him to be on your left and use a shockwave attack. He will kind of naturally go that way. Down attack, and then as you kind of fall into his head when his helmet goes down, you want to jump to the right to trigger him to use that shockwave again. That's Joey's strat. Really, really great quick kill. I love it. There is another strategy that we'll talk about, which is to move to the right and use your shield. Hey, remember we got a shield? You can use this shield and you can just stand here all day. You don't want to do that, of course. The shield will protect you from both of these attacks, but what you want to do is kind of lock him into this pattern. This is Lonk's strategy. It works really well, it's very safe. Notice I missed a hit there because I wasn't holding down during that last phase. Either way, you're going to kill Dokken, and you're going to plunge to the very bottom of this and finish stage 4. Dokken can be pretty tough. He can be pretty mean. He moves very quickly and just decides that he's going to wreck your day. You're on ice, so the physics will be kind of weird. But there are several strategies you can use to make it easier. It is okay if you kind of whiff a little bit on the manipulation of getting him to stay in one spot if you're using Joey's strat. He will move around, you will find a way to hit him. Just take some practice and you'll be able to get there. We're going to end this stage by seeing this running gag once again. There's one more conversation that we're going to have, and then we get automatically moved to stage 5. We are going to save stage 5 for another video after this, but you should get ready to have a pretty challenging level. I love stage 5, it's very cool, and I'm excited to talk about it. So get ready to hear this music a lot, it's quite good, and I will see you in the next video.